So hello, just want to introduce you to my channel. Welcome and thanks for stopping by to listen to Living in the Triangle. I'm Ange and I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of Bermuda. It is a very small island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It is actually in the North Atlantic Ocean. You may have heard about the island, you may not have. So it's just a little bit of information on it. It's very, very beautiful. It is a British overseas territory that is self-governing, and it has a representative from the monarch, which is at the moment is Queen Elizabeth II, and the representative in Bermuda is the governor. At this time, we have our first female governor in Bermuda, so we want to welcome her. She's been here now for, I believe, maybe just about a year and a bit. So Bermuda is made up of a group of small islands. There are 7 main islands, but there are over 170 islands or islets, and some are basically just huge rocks in the middle of the water. And the island is about 650, somewhere about that, 650 miles east of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, which is the closest landmass to Bermuda. It is not a Caribbean island, so it's not really associated with the West Indies, even though for many people they'll consider Bermuda part of the West Indies just because with the palm trees and the ocean, and it's an island, but it is not really associated with the West Indies, and it is about 800 miles to the south and southwest of the islands in the West Indies. It is called an archipelago because it is a grouping of smaller islands, and it's about 24 miles long, and the width is no more than a mile. So it's not large, as you can see. The main islands that we usually call Bermuda, the mainland, it is clustered together, and the picture will look like a fish hook. I'll put up a picture of a aerial view of Bermuda, and it kind of has the outline of a fish hook. And these islands are connected by varying size bridges that ease access from one place to the next. Most of the times when we're traveling along Bermuda, we don't think of the bridges. Some of the bridges just looks like regular roads, but there's water underneath, so they are actual bridges. So the main island is about 22.5 kilometers or 14 miles long, as I said, and 1 mile wide. There are no mountains, and the highest peak is 259 feet high on the main island. The capital of Bermuda is Hamilton, but the old capital was St. George's. I will give you a little bit of history in the next video. So the land in Bermuda is mostly made up of coral, and it's covered by about 200 feet thick of marine limestone, and that's important. We'll talk a little bit more about limestone when we talk about how we build our homes and the roofs and so on. So the marine limestone caps what is thought to be an extinct or submerged volcanic mountain range, which at its highest point is said to be 14,000 feet above the ocean floor. The limestone surface of Bermuda is overlain by a shallow layer of fertile soil. And when we talk about my gardening a little bit and my love for planting and growing stuff, we'll look at how rich this shallow layer of fertile soil really is. The islands are surrounded by fringes of reefs, coral reefs. So we have no lakes, we have no rivers. Our soil is quite porous, and usually we don't have that much puddle. There's some marshlands, but our soil is predominantly described as porous, which means it drains easily. The climate is mild. We don't get freezing weather. We don't get snow and sleet, but we do get chilly with the lowest drop of about 57 degrees, usually overnight and during the cooler months. I'll give a little bit of couple minutes of video about the weather. So the coolest months usually around February, and like I said, the lowest the temperature tend to drop is about 57. For us, it feels quite chilly, and we're usually required to wear at least a light jacket. Some people wear an overcoat, sweaters, turtlenecks, and so on, scarves, hats. All of that is used in Bermuda when it's quite cool. We usually describe the weather as damp because the humidity is quite high, because we're surrounded by ocean and the land is quite small, as described before. Bermuda gets quite a bit of rain, and the rain is very, very important to the island. Again, I'll talk about that when we talk about the weather. But we prepare ourselves for rain. One of the beautiful things about even the rainy season is that we can have rain part of the day and the sun will come out and we'll still have a beautiful day, either in the morning or in the afternoon. Sometimes it rains heavily overnight and then we still have a pretty dry, refreshing day. Rain is used for drinking water, and there's some wells dispersed across the island, private and public wells, from which water is trucked to homes and businesses when needed. So because of the weather, our vegetation is basically subtropical, so you'll find similar kind of plants, shrubs, trees as you would find in some of the Caribbean islands, even in places like California and Atlanta. Some of the vegetation that thrives in those climates in Florida and some places in Eastern Europe. You'll find some of the similar plants and shrubberies. But in Bermuda, you'll see plenty of bougainvilleas during the first 4 months of the year. You'll see Easter lilies, hibiscus, and oleanders and poinsettias thrive here, as do palms and pines and casuarina trees. In the marshy areas, the mangrove trees are also found. You'll find a lot of plants that grow in mangrove and in swampy areas. From time to time, we host migratory birds on their stop over from colder climes as they're seeking warmer weather, preparing for summer months. And we don't have a lot of wild animals. We have quite a bit of lizards, just regular lizards. We don't have iguanas, and we have common ground frogs as well as the little tree frogs that make quite a bit of noise. They really add to the sounds of the island. So the people in Bermuda, you'll find people of all races, but most of the natives, Bermudians, as we call them, people who are from Bermuda are known as Bermudians. Most of Bermudians, about 3/5 or so of the population is of African ancestry and mixed Caribbean ancestry. And when I say Caribbean, I mean anywhere from St. Kitts, Nevis, Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica, Turks and Caicos. So the population is a blend of people from many different places in the world. So, as I was saying, of the whites, people of European ancestry, they make up about 1/3 of the population of Bermuda, and include those who came here from British and American descent, as well as descendants of Portuguese laborers that came here from the Azores or from Madeira. But also there are persons of white ancestry that are also from Canadian and other European countries as well. Just a bit of the language. English is the official language, but Portuguese is also spoken and sometimes written for instructions and for information, out of respect for the large Portuguese population that we do have. Portuguese is not officially taught in schools, and most of the children of Portuguese descent learn their English in school, and so they are bilingual for the most part, so they can interpret for their parents and other family members. And they often speak Portuguese amongst themselves, but you will find English being spoken more commonly. Of late, you're also going to hear some Spanish, and from our Spanish population, both Caribbean Spanish, Dominicans. You're going to hear some Indian dialects as well, or Indian languages. We have quite a few people from Thailand and other folks. So you'll hear many different languages being spoken as you move around or you shop in Bermuda, but the official language is English. So virtually all of the main island is inhabited. Literally, just about every bit of space is taken up. We do have land preservation that is very active in Bermuda, which is awesome. So there is land that is left for farming and also for to preserve, different flora and fauna and so on. So even though we're small, we are very protective of the landmass and what we do with it. So we don't lose a lot of our endemic plants and creatures. Bermuda is a market economy. It's based on tourism and international finance business. The gross national product is growing rapidly. It's quite a wealthy community, and with a very high GNP per capita. But with that said, the cost of living is quite high, and there is financial difficulties with some of our people. There's not a lot of space for agriculture, even though we do have awesome local farmers, and we're moving with the times now, where there's agriculture, indoor agriculture, that is occurring, but most of our food is imported. We do grow quite a bit of bananas, some citrus, some green vegetables, and so on here, but carrots and all of that. But we do import most of our foods. But during the period of harvest of the local food, if there is enough of the local food that's farmed here, there's sometimes an embargo to allow our farmers to be able to sell their products both privately and to restaurants. So the amount of that produce being imported would be minimized. To just give us a chance to purchase what our hard-working farmers have produced. There is a small fishing industry as well, and small farms, livestock. So we do have some cows and pigs and few goats and chickens and so on. So there's some small farms. We can get fresh organic eggs, locally fresh local milk. There's also honey produced on the island, really, really good honey. And many individual Bermudians are now learning also to grow their own food in their backyard, their own pots. So we'll look at that at another video, because I'm one of those who like to grow their own products, just to supplement, and also for leisure activity as well. For minerals, like I mentioned before, I believe the limestone, we do harvest limestone for construction of our building. We don't have enough to export, and we do use some sand also for our construction, but we don't really manufacture too many things in Bermuda. I believe that there may be a few manufacturers here that produce paint for painting the outside of our buildings, and some printed material we produce here, but we're not a huge manufacturing country, because we are so small. We do not have the space for it. And the good side of that is that the air is not contaminated by a lot of the byproducts of manufacture. The flip side of that is that we have to pay more for most of these items that we bring in, because we have to pay shipping duty and trucking and all of that. And like I said, we're market industry. Tourism and international financial service is the main producer of our gross national product, and employ quite a few people in that workforce. And in tourism, pre-COVID, we'd have, over 500,000 tourists visiting Bermuda each year. We have 5-star hotels and resorts, all the way to the home tourism market with Airbnb and VRBOs and so on. So those are available to host our guests based on the price that you want to pay, and the access to kind of the fineries or the local experience. For transportation, we have a public transportation system that include buses, ferries, taxis, minivans, and so on. We don't have major rental cars in Bermuda, but we do have the little mini cars that can be rented on Bermuda, as well as bikes, motorbikes, and bicycles, electric bicycles. We'll go over that at another time when we look a little bit more at transportation and getting around the island. Obviously, we're in the middle of the Atlantic, so access to Bermuda is by air, and most of the major airlines pay a visit once daily or at least several times per week. Airlines from the United States of America, from Canada, from UK, Europe, are pretty regular. We do not have any direct links to the Caribbean, excepting, via Canada, via the United States, and so on. And we also do not have direct links to Europe, excepting through the UK. What else to tell you? Bermuda is self-governing, so it has its own government that is elected roughly every 4 years. The people, eligible persons in the population who are registered to vote will vote for the representative of either the governing party or the opposition that is representing your parish or your area. And whoever wins in that election will be the member of parliament for that area. So, and the member of parliaments will make up both the government or the opposition, depending on the party that gets the highest votes. The highest votes for that election will determine who the ruling government will be. So that's about it. You can leave any questions or make comments in the comment section, and definitely like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Just before I wrap up, Bermudians tend to live quite long. Their life expectancy for men is around 73 years or more, and for women 79 years or more. So we do have many centenarians and persons living quite healthily in their 80s and their 90s in Bermuda. And healthcare system is quite good. It's expensive, but we have paid insurance that cover comprehensive health care, dental. Most time health insurance are pegged to full-time employment, but individuals can purchase insurance individually, privately. There is one general hospital and one psychiatric hospital in Bermuda, and so healthcare is quite accessible. The government tend to cover children up to age 16, so if their parents do not have health insurance, they will not be deprived of health care, at least very basic health care. So I hope you've learned something about our beautiful Isle of Bermuda. I didn't also tell you that we're very well known for our beautiful beaches. Elbow Beach is one of them, Horseshoe Bay is another, but there are many beaches in Bermuda, and that we do have pink sand on the beach. It's actually pink. So it's a beauty to behold, and I would love to welcome you to Bermuda, encourage you to come, encourage you to learn more about Bermuda. And again, leave your comments, click the thumbs up if you like this video, give me some encouragement to continue doing these, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.